some first-timers taking the pitch for the U.S. women's national team in their second of 3 friendlies. This one against Iceland. It concluded Sunday. The U.S. ended up winning 3-1, but we got to see debuts from Emma Sears. We also got to see Emily Sams take the pitch for the first time. Yasmin Ryan earned her first start, but the U.S., it's a come-from-behind win that took until the 72nd minute. Goals from Lynn Williams, Lindsay Horan, and Emma Sears. Christine, what was your take on this U.S. women's national team match?
My take is that for what they have, the rotations that they've gone through, especially just in these 2 matches, I think the kids are extraordinarily great. The teenagers that popped off, the players that we've been waiting to see, like Emily Sams, we really, I mean, at least I did. I think we collectively were waiting for her to actually get some real minutes. They look good, and they look fierce, and they look pretty composed for what it could have been.
I think the response from the U.S. is something that really impressed me. We saw the U.S. go down for the first time under Emma Hayes and have to come from behind. They concede on a quarter kick, an unbelievable Olympico to Iceland. I mean, Iceland is...
They only score bangers.
Very good at scoring really impressive goals, and that's what the U.S. needs to be faced with in friendlies. How they respond to moments like that, marking on set piecing, like what you can do to change that, if anything. And those are the problem-solving things that the U.S. has to face, and the way that they responded after going down and the subs that came in off the bench changed the game for the United States. And to me, that is a very good response.
Yeah, I completely agree. Sandra and I did a recap episode last night after the game, and those mistakes, Casey Murphy jumping a little too early, timing off, U.S. having nobody on the back post that could have cleared it. Those are things that we learned from. The U.S. doesn't get tested like this. This is why I like the matchup with Iceland so much, because we actually got to see players get exposed. We saw Emily Sams have to go 1v1 against Svendis Jonsdottir, probably one of the fastest forwards out there. She's great technically. She's a really good finisher. And she was so smart in how she played against her. And I think, for me, Emily Sams is one of the players from this camp. I know there's still a game left, but that has solidified that she's getting called into the next one. And I wanted to ask you guys.
The gold medal didn't do that for her?
Well, to get lucrative minutes going to the next camp, like that is such a competitive position at center back. Who, for you guys, from what we've seen so far, that's new to the camps or maybe hasn't been called in yet, really has made a name for themselves for next year getting called into national team camps?
Alyssa Thompson.
Yeah, I think she's solidified that she really truly belongs there and can be effective when called upon now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alyssa Thompson did such a good job of rising to the occasion and not letting any of the past experiences on the national team or with a club team dictate how she was going to influence the game, because she was put into a lot of different roles under Emma Hayes these past 2 games, and she's been able to problem solve in the moment, create chances for herself, for other people, and just have joy in playing the game, which is really impressive to see. She'll be back. She'll be back in the camp.
100%.
From the first friendly under Emma Hayes against Iceland to the second one, Hayes had 7 different changes in the starting lineup. The only constants in this friendly on Sunday was Mallory Swanson up top, Sam Coffey in the midfield, Jenna Neiswanger, and Emily Sonnet across the back line. Debuts for Emily Sams getting her first cap and her first start in the back line alongside Sonnet. Yasmin Ryan earned her first start and just her second cap across the front line. Jaden Shaw in the front line as well. Darian, what change in the lineup had the biggest impact Sunday?
I'm actually going to go with Casey Kruger. I thought she was stellar in this match, playing on the right and the left. I mean, her anticipation and how she's able to cover in the back line while, 5 seconds before being up in the 18, sending a cross in or combining with Yasmin Ryan on that right side. She, for me, was such a constant spark and such a reliable player in position that there was never much worry if you knew that she was in like a 50-yard vicinity of the ball, especially in the back line. There was one play where I think it got chipped over Jenna Neiswanger on the far left from a set piece, and she came horizontal, like 80 yards across the field, backtracking, and was able to regain possession and then get back out on the right flank. So she's a player for me that I think was lights out in this match that we haven't really spoken about.
Who impressed you that changed?
That changed. It's so hard because I feel like I also have like my favorites, I know I have my inherent biases that I have to sort of lean into. But I feel like, yeah, Kruger did a great job. I like Emily Fox in that role. I think what I would like to see, though, is them use her more for that get up on the right side.
Fox or Kruger?
Fox, versus always working on that left side more. Like, I feel like they're always sort of Niswanger has the freedom, and I feel like that's probably why she got the start over both sides, but they really like to use that left side more often than the right. And I do think that she does a really good job of doing that for Arsenal out of that right back role.
We saw some changes in the way that Swanson playing on the outside, Jaden Shaw playing as the 9. When you think about players that, Darian, are so versatile in different roles that they can play and how they can play those roles, where do you prefer Shaw? Where do you prefer Swanson? Where do you prefer Horan, who played a little bit higher up in one of these games?
Well, I love the 9-10 press that the U.S. is doing because it's so hard to break down. I mean, when you're in the back and you're confronted with every player is blocking a perfect pocket of space, and you have speedy players at that can just close you down in a second. It's really difficult. This group starting, I didn't love the 9-10 press with Olivia Moultrie and Jane Shaw. I actually think those players play so similarly in that position where they're super technical. They like to be on the ball. They like to have back to goal, half open, checking into a pocket. They like to combine, move quickly. I don't know if them starting at the same time in those two positions was the best. We were able to get the best out of the both of them. We didn't see that spark from Shaw. We didn't get to see Olivia Moultrie and her vision and precision passing ability that she has because it was so stuffy. There wasn't anybody stretching Iceland or having a threat in behind that gave them the space to operate in front of them. I think it worked in Iceland's favor, actually. So I think we didn't get the best out of them. Shaw, I definitely prefer in the 10.
What if you had Moultrie and Shaw both centrally and you had someone like a Lynn Williams up higher?
I think that would have worked out so much better. Then there's space. I mean, you're so worried about Lynn Williams or Alyssa Thompson. Even Mal Swanson, we didn't get to see that much of her. And Yasmin Ryan wasn't looking to go super long. She was wanting to be more on the ball, which is how she plays with Gotham. I totally get. But I think the game was asking for that. I think if that were the case, say Lynn Williams was started at the 9, we would have seen completely different pockets of spaces and more time for Olivia Moultrie and Jaden Shaw to start cooking. Give them touches on the ball and space to play.
How much do you attribute that to just different styles from club to U.S. duty for some of them?
Of who?
Just adjustments for Moultrie or, say, Yasmin Ryan, the asks of her versus what she's already been doing?
It's tough because think about this too. These players are jumping into a new speed with Emma Hayes. The ball movement is so much quicker than I think when they were first with the national team, or at least Olivia Moultrie when she first came in. Yasmin Ryan, this is her first camp. That is overwhelming to jump into a match like that. So you go back to what you do with your club team. I think now that they have those minutes under their belts, I'm interested to see next game, if they get minutes, what are you going to do now? Now, what is the game asking for you? But bring your own uniqueness to it. Bring your game that got you to these moments into the match.
Do you think Emma Hayes had similar analysis from the first half as you did right there? Because you have to try those players, right? If you have two players that are similar, but you don't know how they're going to play, right? This was a very experimental for Hayes to put both Shaw and Moultrie in there at the same time. Ryan, there was so many changes. In the second 45, she changed everything around. Was that a direct result of how it was failing in the first half?
I believe so. And they needed a score. You needed threats in behind. And I think watching Iceland, we have to give credit to Iceland. They played a really good match. Both matches, they were great. And they had a lot of changes as well. But I think because there wasn't the imminent threat in behind that we saw from Alyssa Thompson in the first game, where my God, they were so worried about her going 1v1, trying to get end line, sending crosses in, that they were thanking everybody that the U.S. was sitting in front of them. And I don't think it exposed them enough. And so I would like to think that Emma Hayes and I thought the same, girl, come on. But we'll see. Maybe they were, but maybe she had pre-planned these subs. But I do think the second half adjustments changed the game in the U.S. favor.
I'm going with she definitely had the same vision as Darian.
Yeah.
Also because Emma's known for making these changes mid-game. That's part of her anecdote and what she's been successful with.
So the U.S. has one more game that they get to play against Argentina. It's set for this Wednesday in Louisville, Kentucky. Attacking Third will have a recap immediately following that match. But when you think about the players that Emma Hayes has already started and given minutes to, she's talked about how she's going to rotate a lot and she doesn't want one player to play multiple minutes across all of these matches. There's also NWSL final day of the regular season and playoffs to come. Who do you want to see in this final match for the United States, Christine?
You know what? I'd like to get another look at Mel and Son. I think that she's got pace just to see what she can actually do with a little bit of a deviation in style outside of Bay, just to see, hey, what do you got, kid?
I like that one.
More Alyssa Thompson. I want to see Ashley Sanchez get minutes.
Yeah.
She needs to ball out. She's been doing so well with North Carolina. I think she's going to thrive with this national team, the speed of play, the tight pockets. I really want to see her, but I want to see the 3-5-2 that Sandra and I keep putting out there. We saw a glimpse of it. We saw glimpses of it.
Think she'll start that way?
I don't know if she'll start that way, but I think it's such a good back pocket formation to have when you need to score because, oh my God, is that such an overwhelming formation to try to play out against?
As a defender, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
To go against the front line of
you have Lynn Williams, Mel Swanson, Alyssa Thompson, Sophia Smith.
It's
everybody
insane.
ready to run
They're
and
all
close
just
down.
running at you. I want to see Naomi Girma and Emily Sams in the back line together as a defensive pairing.
That'd be juicy.
Sonnet and Sams, it worked good. I think we saw really bright spots from Emily Sams as a defender. She was so good in this game, never getting flustered, being so good on both sides of the ball. I want to see her distribution be elevated a little bit more.
I don't think we saw much of it. There wasn't enough penetrating passes for me.
But her and Girma together, I think that would be a really good partnership.
So Sam's on the right, Girma on the left?
Yes. I want to see them together. I think that could be future center back pairing for the U.S. moving forward.
I like it.
Lisa Carlin said it here.
That one.